back behind us, you'll be able to see how we come down in. Just back in the lay-by there, and so he's stone ball fresh out the stable, and he's got to come straight out in heavy traffic. And this, you can get some, it's very deceiving. This is Stockbridge, long straight road, like all the old-fashioned high street. You know, a coaching route this would have been years ago, and back in the day, as they say. So for him to come out nice and fresh, literally 200 yards, 300 yards we've done from the trailer, and he's, you know, he's full of beans, obviously, full of crap. Go on, get up. Go on, my darling boy, on you go. And he's getting much better every time we take him out. He's getting better, but they've got to be, how can I say, they've got to get their own confidence. Once they've got their own confidence, or even starting to get it, so their confidence is, I don't know if you want to put it in percentages, maybe 25-30% of their own confidence, where they're not looking to me, you know, like now he's not looking to me, is he? See, he don't like this, going through this gap here. He's just having a look, what's that there, what's that there, what's that there, but he hasn't put his ears back to me to ask me, Dad, you sure this is all right, has he? If you notice that, see now, he's got his ears pricked up, so that's his confidence, not mine. So he's deciding I'm quite happy to go forward, yeah? Although I'm just having a look at these people, this thing. So the reason we, go on babe, up you go. The reason, walk up little boy. We've got a nice old sheep coming past here in that box. That cattle trailer, and things like that, the smell of that box will be quite strong, you know. Come over, darling. There's my little boy. Yes, you are. And we're going to pull straight in here now. Come over, darling. Go on, up you go. Come over. Get up. Go on, up you go, baby. Go on. Up you go. A bit more. And we're going to pull there and just stop there. So he's not done any work yet, it's literally a few hundred yards, and we're going to stop, park up here and just let him stand quiet. Not because I'll keep telling him to, but I want him to stand quiet and relax. Oh, we've stopped now, that's it. So we'll go and tie him up now. So as we arrived here, you know, to tie little one up, so little Harry, Dirty Harry as we call him, he's on a rope there tied on that bar. Now I'm sat up here and Ree's just gone and got a coffee, but what I'm trying to show you is, although everything's going on around him, he's got no real problem at all. So he's standing there. If you look here down here, you can see his legs at rest, you know, he's standing on 3 legs. Now no horse that's standing on 3 legs is even thinking about moving, because obviously standing on 3 legs. So I'm really pleased with him. If you look back on the other films, he would fidget now. Now we've got something coming past now. Oh, it's not very big, it sounded noisier than what it was. Today's pretty quiet in this town, but in a minute we'll have some lorries, and as we do, you know, hopefully we get some to come past. Tractors, all sorts can come through here, and I can guarantee you will remain exactly the same. You know, whatever comes past here will not disturb him. Now that's because this is his own confidence. So what you're looking for when you train horse is that what you ask them to do, they do without question, which obviously puts a great deal of responsibility on the driver. Because if you ask him to do something and then he's affected by what you've asked him to do, i.e. he slips, he hurts himself, he bumps into something, whatever might happen, whatever you could possibly think of, his trust in you is going to be diminished. When his trust in you is diminished, it will also be in himself to a certain extent. So when I pulled up here, I just said, go on my babe, up you go. So he stepped up onto here. I don't think, honestly, he certainly, this is his third visit to this town. But he's been in a pair on the near side and offside when he's come down, because he was never big enough to, or wasn't fit enough to do the distance. Do you see what I mean? You couldn't ask him to come all the way down here. It didn't prove anything, did it really? Because it's 4 mile from home, maybe 5, according to which way you come. 4.5 anyway, for argument's sake. So he would already have burnt some energy off and settled down. So many people say to me, oh, my horse is lovely, absolutely perfect, couldn't ask for a better horse. And then they say, you know, I have to let him go for the first couple of miles and then he settles down. Well, that's no good. That horse is not broken correctly, because you could pull out your yard and at that very moment you need to restrain your horse, you need it to stand and stand quiet. So we've literally come, because we cannot get any near the with a trailer you can't park here very well, but down just outside, I mean literally just off the roundabout, it's no more than 500 yards from here. There's long lay-bys where you can pull over, which is what we've done. So as you can see, he's standing there, he's happy as anything. But when we approached this bit, he walked up onto there, he stood there quiet. The other thing is, obviously I could sit here and hold the reins, couldn't I? Common sense tells you that. Well, the reason I've got him tied up, yeah, is so he's got, instead of me talking to him, yeah, he's not even moved the rope that he's tied up on. You know, the shank that's tying him up is just hanging loose. It's not doing anything. So you could say, well, you could unclip it. Well, quite sure you could unclip it and he would just stand there. Now, whether that would be a thing to do in a situation like this, you'd want to have the reins in your hand as an alternative, or at least as near as you could get hold of them if you had to, yeah? So, as you see this little fella, he's now got his own confidence. He's almost there, almost completely there. And this is a very, very bad time. Not a bad time, it's a very, what's the right word? It's a time when it can go one way or the other. He's building his confidence. He was, I think the last time we spoke about confidence with him, he was a third of the way. Well, he's well over half now, coming towards 3/4. We don't want anything to change that. So that's why we're parked here. So I have no influence on this horse whatsoever. I'm not holding the reins, so there's no contact from Dad, is there? You know, calling myself Dad, but like I'm, you know. So there's no contact from me. He's very close to me. He listens to me, he sees ears now, you know, and we've got a good relationship, which, you know, obviously I try and get with all the horses. But basically, this is his own confidence keeping him there. So there's no influence from me, from the reins. Obviously you can hear I'm talking, and it would be better, I mean, if you could be here with me, what we do is sit here quietly and say nothing. So he thought he was here entirely on his own, and he would still stand there like that, because he's contented. And here, look, there's a lorry coming here, for instance, right? So I've not touched the reins. Watch his head for any movement, right, as it comes. And you can hear the rattling as it goes past. I hope you can on that. That's the only thing with these phones and what were they called? The small square GoPro things, I think they're called. The sound's not very good on it, and it would be nice if you could hear the sound, because that truck just going past then, and it would be exactly as that one there's got a blowy exhaust, that little red motor car gone up there, as it's gone past. Yeah, you won't get it come out so readily on these on these films because it just don't pick the sound up as it could. So, but he's seeing all these bikes go past, these ladies with their bikes, but he's perfectly happy. You know, he's got no problem with that. And if you say to me, why should he have a problem? Well, they've got little lights on the back, haven't they? It's something to look at. It's something a little bit different. It would draw my attention. Why wouldn't it draw his? You know? So, but he's standing there happy. Got another lorry coming down here now. Very, very quiet for lorries today. Another day it can be really busy. I want to get one coming from behind before we move so you can reinforce what I'm saying. I mean, when it comes past here, he's only going to be away from the actual cart. He's going to be 18 inches 2 foot. Yeah, this one here is, hear that bumping and banging as it comes past over the rough surface on the road there where it's got a crack in the road. So that's why we park here, because it's a lovely one to make noise, especially if you get a big tipper lorry, you know, a lorry that takes away waste, you know, that tips up. I don't know how they refer to them in America or Canada, but like that. So you get one of those trucks, you know, and they, because they're made to carry a big load, when they're empty they make a tremendous amount of noise on their springs, bouncing and vibrating about. I'm going to stop talking now for a minute, and we're just going to wait for a lorry to come and we'll film that, and then you'll get a good grounding on what I mean. So he's standing there now, he's happy as can be, he's like a little statue. He's done no miles, he's full of grub, he's literally done 500 yards to get here, and that's it. And we've sat here, we've had a cup of coffee, or just finishing a cup of coffee, and he's standing there as quiet as a lamb. He's not really influenced by anything, and he's perfectly happy. And that's what we're looking for, and that is his confidence is allowing him to stand there in the middle of town with, what's it, I can hear something coming now. I can't see anything, but I can hear something heavier behind us. So we'll just wait for this to come by, see what it is. So yeah, there's something heavy coming now. And you can see that. Now that's the typical thing of what I've just said. I don't know whether that will come out on the sound. It's such a shame that it doesn't come out, because that one there is empty, that lorry going down there. You can see by the tyres, if you look carefully, they're not bowed out, you know, they're not like that, because the air's being compressed at the bottom of the tyre. And that's scratching on the springs, you know, it's squeaking as it goes down the road right past him. Not a murmur. Well, a week ago, 10 days ago, he'd have been all over the place. And I'd have had to have been talking to him, you know, to just reassure him. 2 weeks before that, I'd have to hold the reins and touch his little mouth gently, just to say, don't worry, Daddy's here, everything's all right, you know. But gradually, it's no different to a child. He's building his confidence. You know, when you first put a little child on a swing, they're frightened, you know, obviously. You've got to be very careful how you do it. And then, you know, no time at all goes by, and now you know, operating the swing themselves. Another one there, can you see? His little foot at rest, nothing whatsoever. So that to me is lovely. You can't ask for more than that. The other problem this little pony's got, not problem, but one that's, they always have something that you can't get to straight away. It might be standing still. It could be shaking their head. You know what I mean, is playing, putting their head up and down. It could be pawing the ground. Any number of things you could ever wish to make. They always hang on to one thing till last, yeah? So his thing is, you'll be going up and he'll look at things on the curbside, you know. So, like in this country, he's looking at something on the left-hand side, so he's against the sidewalk, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. Another one here, you see this lorry, he'll bump again the same. One going up there, rattling. Nothing at all. So I'm really proud of him, you know, I'm proud of what he's done. And if you look at his little lead rope, you can see there's no tension on it at all. He's not, because what some horses will do, which is worth mentioning perhaps, they'll come back and create a bit of tension on the rope they're secured by, and that is gives them a little bit of confidence sometimes. You know, you got all sort of do that, think, oh well, you know, so it's exactly the same as you putting your hand on a handrail or something to steady yourself. They'll do that sometimes. I know all these things seem very, very tiny little things, but that's what, look at this one here for instance. Although they seem tiny little things, that's why I suppose we have a big waiting list, because all these little things, getting the pony or horse between the shafts is really not that much of a deal, you know. Obviously it's a big part of it, but it's all this other bits and pieces that make the horses what they are. So he's lovely, you know, he's like Dirty Harry we call him, because if he's got a bit of poo he'll definitely roll in it. His head everywhere, you know, cover himself in it. But lovely little boy. Now you'd think you've done, you know, 10 mile, wouldn't you? And he's just literally done 500 yards. We transported him down here in the box with his vehicle, and he's like, he couldn't be better. He's 150% in all respects. Only thing we've got to do to iron out now, and that will come like everything, it comes, just got to give it time and patience, you know, and that is things on the side of the road. Now if you say to me, what do I mean, I couldn't tell you, because it could be anything. It could be you know, a piece of paper, it could be a man drilling a hole in the road, you know, it could be someone shoveling, edge trimming, something like that. And there we go past 4 or 5, that type of thing. Another one he'll pick up on. What we fail to take into account as humans is they got a far, far superior sense of smell than we have, and hearing, yeah? And they can't apply the logic we can to a situation. They don't apply the same logic, so therefore you have to think of them things. And that's why I said to you earlier, I think, you know, I don't know if it was in this film or another one, when we had some sheep come past in the trailer, or sometimes the smell of that, you'll see the horse prick his ears, lift it up, you know, especially if they've not smelt that before. There'll be you know, and you'll see a horse in a field sometimes got his head up and his ears pricked and he's staring out there across there. Sometimes that's nothing to do with a sight thing, it's something he smelt, he knows it's coming from that direction, and he wants to know what it is, you know. And it's like anything else, the unknown is a problem. Once you know it, once you understand what's going on, you know, for humans that's the same, isn't it, you know. I mean, if I asked you to walk along a 10-inch wide board across a great big ravine, yeah, but you believed that the board was laying on someone's lawn, you'd walk right across it. You'd have no fear, would you? Because you're not going to fall more than 2 inches the thickness of the board. So if you'd done that, you'd do it with ease, wouldn't you? If you was blindfolded, yeah. So take your senses away, and you know, it wouldn't be a problem, would it? So you have to look at things like that with horses. Try and work out all the time. I spend my life trying to see the world through their eyes, but they're all different. So there you go, there's the buskers going by, and that'll do. Time to make our way home now. So you see now, I've picked the reins up in my hand. Just look at me pony now. His ears are back. His ears are back. Wait, what's next, Dad? What we're going to do now, Dad? He's standing on all 4 feet. He's got one on the road, one on that high bit of ground there. But still standing there like that, but ready to go. But he's not moving. He's not rocking from side to side and getting excited. We're going. He's waiting there for Daddy to say, right, off we go, mate. That's what you want.
There's a smile on my face every time I hear that sound. The rhythm of the hooves as they touch the ground. And there's no my safe, confident horse. And there's no better place I'd rather be than with my safe, confident horse that's happy